Hey guys, how's it going? It's Jesse here from Canadian DIY, and today we're going to be building this bookcase. Now this is actually part 2 of a 3-part series that I'm doing where I'm building some living room furniture for a buddy of mine. Now if you haven't seen part 1, it's for that end table right there. It's actually a fairly simple build. Go ahead and check that one out. I'll have a link down in the description box below. Now today we're going to be building the bookcase. Now obviously the 3 pieces are all going to match. So this is actually a lot simpler than you'll think. As you can see though, the end result is actually really nice. Now there's a lot of little subtle touches on here. You can do them, you don't have to. It's entirely up to you, but I'm going to show you how I built this one right now. Alright guys, to make this bookcase, it's actually really simple. It's made up of a few basic pieces. Once we assemble the whole thing, it's going to come together actually pretty quickly. Now the first thing we're going to make is we're going to make our side panels. Now the side panels have a faux frame and panel look to them. They're actually really simple to assemble. Now for the legs, they're made out of basic 2x2 pine. I left myself 2.5 inches here on the bottom. So the first thing to do is we're going to cut our legs down to the length that we need. I gang cut mine to make sure that they were all the exact same length. From there, we're going to take and put a rabbiting bit in our router. We're going to route out a groove on the back side. That's going to accept a 1/4 inch plywood backer panel once we're finished. If you don't have a router or you don't have a rabbiting bit, you can actually do the exact same thing if you have access to a table saw. From there, we're going to cut our plywood. I'm using 3/4 inch birch ply here, and it's going to be our center section of the frame. Now, I had mine ripped to length at my local home center, and then I just cut it to length again, gang cutting them on the table saw down to my length. Sorry, I had them ripped to width at my local home center. After that, we're going to take and drill some 3/4 inch pocket holes in our plywood all the way around except the top and the bottom. From there, we're just going to stop and give everything a preliminary sanding. It's a lot easier to sand it when it's all apart like this as opposed to fully finished and trying to get every little nook and cranny. From there, I'm going to use some 3/4 inch spacers. I'm going to put my plywood on top of those. That'll basically lift it up so it's flush with the inside of my 2x2s. I'm just going to go ahead and glue and screw everything together. After that, we're going to take some 1x3s, just cut them down to the length that you need, and I'm just going to glue and clamp mine into place. Now if you don't have enough clamps or anything like that, you can brad nail this on, you can do whatever you want. You can even pressure fit it. If you cut it to be fairly tight, you can pressure fit it in there and just glue it into place. From there, I'm going to add just a couple of decorative touches. I'm going to take a chamfer bit in my router, and I'm going to just put a 45-degree chamfer on all of my legs. I measured down from the top 6 inches and up from the bottom 6 inches, and I just kind of fade it in and out from there. Just gives it a little bit of something, I guess, going on. After that, we're just going to take some pocket hole plugs, put a little dab of glue into each hole, and pop a plug in there. Wait until the glue is dry, come back, and then we're just going to shave the plugs down. I'm just using a small little hand plane. You can sand them down. You can, if you've got a flush trim saw, you can cut them down, whatever you want, whatever you've got access to. Okay, so now with the side panels all finished, what we're going to do to attach them together is we're going to build a face frame. So with this one here, I've got this made out of some 1x2 poplar, and for my top piece I've got a piece of 1x3. And you can make this out of whatever wood you want. I just happen to be using poplar here, but it's still 1x2 and 1x3, so no matter what you make it out of, that's all it is. For the back, I've got just a piece of 1x2 here, and I've got a scrap piece of plywood that I've got. Those are going to be my back stretchers. So again, nothing fancy there. It's going to be on the back side. It's basically just to hold it in place and stop it from racking and things like that. The face frame itself is actually really simple assembly. It's just pocket holes screwed together. Now it's all going to be on the back side. You're never going to see it anyway. Now I've got some extra pocket holes here, and those are to attach it to the frame afterwards. The assembly on this goes really simple. Same thing as before. Measure and cut your 1x2s down to length as well as your 1x3. And then go ahead and drill all of your pocket holes inside of your board. From there, we're just going to clamp them down so they're flush to the table, flush to each other, and we're just going to glue and screw them together. Then after that, we're going to drill our extra pocket holes. Now make sure that you offset these so that way you're not running into the screws that have the frame assembled. And then just give the whole frame a sanding just to make sure everything's flush all the way around with each other and nice and smooth. And there you have it. Simple as that. Now all we got to do is attach the frame to the sides. So let's get to it. Alright, now with this part assembled, I'm just going to move it out of the way, put the other half down, then I'm going to lay this half on top of that, and just go ahead and glue and screw it together. Alright, so now that we got the frame finished, what we're going to do is going to take some glue and some brad nails, and I've cut 2 pieces of 2x2 down. Now these are going to mount inside of the frame just like that, and they're flush with the edge of our face frame. Those are going to be what we're going to mount our full extension drawer slides onto so we can hook our drawer up later. Then after that, what we're going to do is I've got this 3/4 inch piece of birch plywood kicking around. So I'm going to use it to cut out all of my shelves. I'm just going to cut them out with my circular saw and my track. And after that, we're going to take and band them with a piece of 1x2 poplar. It's just basically going to give them a little bit beefier, thicker look, as well as over time it'll help stop them from sagging and give it some reinforcement. So let's go ahead and cut those out. Alright, now I'm just going to go ahead and put the lower shelf in. I've already attached my cleats here. Now the way I got this measurement was I just took my shelf, held it in place so it was flush with my front face frame here, made sure it was level and everything, and then I just ran a pencil line all the way around the bottom. Then I just attached some cleats. I'm just going to run some glue over this, set this in place, nail it, clamp it, be good to go. Alright guys, now I just attached my drawer slides. They're a full extension drawer slide. You can use whatever you want. I'll have a link to those down in the description box below. Now you've already seen me cut these pieces as well. Now I may have sized my drawer opening there based on some scrap plywood that I had laying around, but I mean you can really make that whatever size you want and then cut it to fit. Now these pieces here is going to be a really simple drawer assembly. So basically what's going to happen, you get a front and a back and each side. Now the sides are going to run full length, and that's going to hide the end grain of the plywood on each side, or on the front and the back piece. And then on the front and the back piece as well, you're going to have your pocket holes drilled. Now on the back side you'll never see them, and on the front side it's going to be hidden by a false drawer front, so it works perfectly. After that, just going to glue and brad nail. If you have a staple gun, that would be a little bit better, but I don't. So just glue and brad nail a 1/4 inch bottom onto here, and then from there you can finish out the top however you want. If you want the exposed plywood edges, just go ahead and leave them. If you don't, you can go ahead and put edge banding on there. I think that's what I'm going to go with. If you want to keep the plywood edges but you want a little bit more decorative, you can take a router and a round over and just do a nice round over on them. You can chamfer them. If you don't have a router, you can just sand it back. I mean, you literally do whatever you want. You don't have to do it exactly like I am. This is just what I'm going for, so let's get to it. Alright guys, now that we got our drawer box built, we just got to go ahead and attach it to our hinges. Now for mine, I'm using full extension drawer slides. Now I said you can go ahead and mount this however your drawer slides say to in the instructions. Now for this one, it says I need 1/8 of an inch up from the bottom, so I'm just using a 1/4 inch plywood spacer, and I lay it in there, take and put my drawer in, and then I just made a mark on the front side of my drawer on the center of my drawer slides. That's basically where my screws are going to go, and then I just took a square and I just ran the line all the way across. I'll take the drawer slide out and I'll just put it on top of there, making sure that my screw holes are centered on that line, and I'll just pre-drill my screw holes, put my screws in, attach the drawer slide, and then I can slide the drawer in. Now for the false front, what we're going to do to get those measurements, for myself I want a 1/2 inch reveal all the way around. So take this total measurement here, subtract 1 inch, and that will give you your stiles. Now in order to figure out the width of your rails, it's really simple again. Once your stiles are already cut, take and just slide both of them to one side, take the remaining measurement that's open, again subtract 1 inch, and there's the size of your rails. From there, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pocket hole screw and glue the face frame together. I'll take a rabbiting bit on the back side, I'll cut a 1/4 inch plywood backer for that, and I'll just glue that in from the back side. False front's all finished. Alright guys, so now I got our false drawer front all assembled, and I went ahead and drilled my holes for my cabinet hardware. It's really simple to do. Just find your centers, measure halfway your distance, split it, drill your holes. Make sure you have a backer panel on the back side though, so you don't have a bunch of blowout. It's not going to be seen, but it's just nice to know. Now I've also assembled the top. Now the top is nothing more than a couple of 1x6s and a 1x3 in the center. Now I just attached that with pocket holes and wood glue, and then I just trued up all the edges at the exact same time. So at first cut it a little long and then cut them all at the exact same time. That way you're not trying to line everything up and worry about it getting out of square. Now from there, what I'm going to do is I've got a chamfer bit in my router, and I'm going to put a 45-degree bevel all along the bottom side of the top. Then I'm going to switch out my bit and I'm going to put in an 1/8 inch round over, and I'm going to round over the entire top edge. After that, we should be good for finishing. That's really all there is to it, you guys. Like I said, it's not that overly difficult if you break it down into a bunch of small steps. I really hope you guys learned something from this one. If you did, let me know down in the comments below. I'd really like to hear from you. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.